Hello and welcome back in to the Jefferson Madrig's Fantasy Podcast, the pod on a mission to normalise 18 leagues. I'm Pete McManus and I'm joined by just Ian Harrison tonight. We are back for 2026. I know you've missed us greatly, but apparently 3 months off or whatever it is, it's a couple of months since the end of the season, since we've done a pod, wasn't enough for H. So he's having a bit of a longer holiday from the NFL. How are you doing, Ian?
All right, yeah, I really needed the break, to be honest. So, I'm glad to be back now. I felt by the end of the season, I felt pretty burnt out with fantasy and podcasting, and just general life. So I was actually really happy when the playoffs began and like fantasy and just kind of went out the window. I could actually just enjoy watching football and not get stressed about who's playing who and what points I need and all the permutations that you need when you need like 6 points from your D on a Monday night.
Yeah, it's pretty full on, isn't it? Like it's every Thursday, every Sunday, every Monday. Then as the season goes on, it's like, we'll throw a few more games on a Thursday for Thanksgiving. Then we'll throw the odd Saturday game in.
And Friday games.
Yeah, it's only 18 weeks, but it's pretty solid 18 weeks. So
and then Christmas was a big one as well, wasn't it? Like there was games all over the place.
Yeah, and we won't. I know some of our listeners will be in exactly the same boat as us, but I think all three of us have had a conversation off air about not being in as many leagues next year because I know that probably didn't help with the burnout for the three of us. So
no, it didn't. I've said to myself, no new leagues unless it's best ball.
Yes, best ball. I'm all up for best ball. If you've got charity best balls, if you're just launching your best ball, let me know. I'm all up for drafting in best balls in the summer, stuff that I don't have to deal with in the season.
Well, while we're on that, I'm just gonna put it out there now at the beginning of the episode that this year I am going to be looking at setting up a best ball tournament for charity for the Firefighters charity. So I will organise that and talk about it when it's up and running and get you all signed up.
So for those of you paying attention, Ian said it was far too much last year and it's taken him 1 minute and 40 seconds to add more work to his workload.
It's for charity though, isn't it? See, you're doing it for charity.
I think that's it though. We've got that into NFL that we watch it. We play fantasy football to far too much of an extent. We run leagues. We do a podcast on it. So it's no surprise that when the season starts, there's just too much to do. So there you go. How was your season overall? In fact, before we talk fantasy, let's talk Super Bowl. Let's talk proper NFL. Enjoy the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it wasn't one for the ages. It was very much a defensive game, which I actually enjoyed. Really, kind of like from a purist perspective. I mean, I know the scoreline by the end flattered the Patriots a little bit because they started getting garbage points, but it was very comfortable for the Seahawks all the way through, really.
Yeah, I thought they were going to win all the way up to the game, and they didn't look like at any point they weren't going to win. I think Drake May's had a few. The feedback on Drake May's gone a little bit too negative for my liking. He still had a good season. He was still in the MVP running. He's still a good player, but I just don't think they were ready to go to the playoffs. They've had a really good to go to the Super Bowl. Sorry, they had a really good season, and they just met teams at the right time. And I don't know if they win in Denver if Bo Nix is playing. And they just didn't feel like they were ready for the Super Bowl for me. Whereas the Seahawks were a bit like the Eagles the year before. That defense just hit form at the right time, didn't it? And they looked like I didn't think Sam Darnold played that well in the Super Bowl, but he had played well in the league.
Well, behind that D, he didn't really need to, did he? Like that, the Seahawks D, especially the D line, just got after Drake May all the time. Like he was having a bad day.
This has got to be one of the first times that in the history of the NFL that the Super Bowl MVP is going to be a free agent a month later. Though I cannot believe they're not bringing Kenneth Walker back.
I know, well, they still got Charbonnet, haven't they? Like, they've obviously seen something in Charbonnet, the Carbonnet, should I say, that they really like, and they just don't want to pay Kenneth Walker MVP money to be a running back in a split backfield.
Where's your loyalties there, though? It's just won the MVP in the Super Bowl. You just want to run it back anyway.
But now he's going to want MVP wages, and obviously the Seahawks like, well, want to use you as a dual in a dual backfield, so we're not going to give you 15 million to split carb on it. So we'll get rid, which is it is interesting. I can't recall the Super Bowl MVP ever being a free agent after a Super Bowl, but it will be interesting to see who actually does spend that money, because I think dual threat backfields are becoming a bit of a
they're
phasing out, aren't they?
Yeah. Well,
more and more people are working towards splitting the backfield. So I don't know if anyone's going to pay 15 million outright for an RB1.
Yeah, we'll see. Free agency's next. That'll probably be the next. We'll talk about this at the end, but that'll probably be the next time you hear from us, a summary of the free agency, because it is coming up very quickly.
I do enjoy free agency.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. I feel like the season's kicking off again, even though it's 5-6 months away. It's like, let's get the excitement going again. But no,
I'm already stressed.
Yeah, I've got no interest in the combine.
No.
I'm all for free agency. Let's get going again. Get hyped up. Every team gets hyped up again, and 32 teams are all ready to go. Fantasy wise, when you look back on it, having had a couple of weeks break, it's a couple of months break at this point. Are you happy with your season overall? Disappointed?
I was when I look back over it, I was better than average.
Yeah.
But so I think I won a couple of leagues. I won the toilet bowl in one of Murph's leagues and got the best trophy I've ever received. I sent a picture of it to you. For winning the toilet bowl, I got an actual silver plate, and I was blown away by that. So I think I was happier with that than the leagues that I won. Yeah.
I did okay. I'm happy. Well, more than okay. I'm happy with one of my better seasons, and so I'm happy. But it has made me realise there's a couple of dynasty leagues I'm in and a couple of redrafts, to be fair, where they were either 10 or 12 teams. So you got the 6-team playoffs, and I was either the 1 or 2 seed, and I got knocked out in the semi-finals. And I was like, I'm going to do some research on this as to how often that happens, because it feels like when you look through it, it feels like you can go and you get that 1 seed, and then you just have one bad week in week 16. That's the end of it, and it's all over. And it seems to happen.
It's horrible when it happens. It really.
I was talking to H, and it seems H happened to H a lot this year as well. I was like, it must just be a thing. So.
But then you've got to be pretty happy with your season, because you're double champion in our home leagues. You won redraft and dynasty.
I am. I don't know if I've mentioned that.
You've not mentioned it. You've not mentioned it at all, mate.
I think that might be why H hasn't turned up, because I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, I did beat him in 3 Super Bowls in week 16, so he hasn't really spoken to me since, even though we were all nice about it going into it.
You're an all or nothing kind of guy. Like, you don't win anything ever, and then win 3 in a year.
Yeah, that's it. 3 of my main 4. So still haven't won the other one, but next year's another year. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. It will get mentioned multiple times in that group before September and beyond, actually.
And beyond.
So I've got big plans for the draft. So I'm going to be spending a bit of money on the draft.
It's got to be a t-shirt. It's got to be a t-shirt, hasn't it?
Exciting. Or at least that'd be exciting. Right, what we thought we'd do this week, just have a bit of fun. Obviously, for those of you who've been with us a while, you'll know we do our predictions before the season. So what we thought would be interesting was to go back and look at them. Like, nobody really cares about last year anymore; it's over. But I thought what it would be interesting is to go back and look at them from a view of, what have we learned from that moving forward, and everything else. We won't spend too much time on it. It's also a good opportunity for us to be real with our audience and kind of go, we don't always get it right, or get any of it right, apparently, with some of this stuff. But at least we're honest about it.
You need to change the word "always" for "ever." Like, we don't ever get it right.
No, there's some good shouts in here along the way, but I think, and there's some things that you look at, and I was obviously pulling the graphics together, and I was like, why did I think that was going to happen? And 6 months is a long time in the NFL, which is also worth remembering. So we thought we'll go through them, and then if we've got a bit of time at the end, I thought we'd run through some of the coaching changes, see if you've got any thoughts on them. And then there's a bit of news. DJ Moore's obviously been traded to the Bills. Just seeing that compensation come up on my Twitter, so that's quite interesting. So we'll touch on that at the end. So where should we start? let's start with the AFC, and we'll start with your division, the North. And let me sort this out. There we go. So the AFC North. This is how the AFC North finished: Steelers, Ravens, Bengals, Browns, and quite frankly, we didn't see that coming. So all three of us went for the Ravens to win it, Bengals second, Steelers third, and we all had the Browns finishing fourth. So we got one of the four right.
Yeah, you can always rely on the Browns, can't you?
Yeah, I think. How are you feeling about Steelers and moving on from Mike Tomlin? Do we think it'll? Mike McCarthy's an odd choice. It feels like they've swapped one for another, but
yeah,
are you feeling the same about them moving forward?
It's pretty like for like. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to look at the Steelers for next year, being that Aaron Rodgers is completely non-committal about ever playing the NFL again. I saw it today or yesterday. Yeah, they do. He was doing an interview and he said the Steelers want me back. They've not given me any timeline to make a decision. I'm like, surely they put some kind of timeline on it, like any time before the draft might be helpful.
Yeah.
But I can't even begin to discuss what's going to go on with the Steelers next year because I just don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers? Is it going to keep Rudolph? Is it going to be Howard? I have no idea.
How are you? What might have been a better question for this division is how are you feeling about being the only team in the division who kept your coach from this year? I know you don't like him, and you're the only team out of the four who's gone, we'll just run it back. It seemed to go really well.
Yeah, the ownership went, you know what, that wasn't a bad year. Let's keep Zach for whatever reason. Yeah. I'm not happy that we've kept Zach. What I am happy about, however, is that this is the first time in Joe Burrow's career that he's going to play a second season with the same O-line. He's never had the same O-line from one season onto another. And by the end of last season, that O-line were doing a really good job of protecting Burrow. So I am more excited about the start of the season now, hoping that, we are able to hit the ground running and not trying to bed in new O-linemen in front of Joe Burrow.
Is the draft going to be a very defensive focused draft for the Bengals?
Has to be. Absolutely has to be. We obviously need an edge rusher now that Trey Hendrickson's gone. I don't know if Asai's going to stay either, so we may need two. We definitely need a linebacker, and we absolutely need a safety.
Yeah, definitely. Onto the East. We didn't do much better in the East.
I did. I got one.
Patriots, Bills, mate, celebrate it because it might be the only one you get. Patriots, Bills, Dolphins, Jets. Ian had the Jets to finish last.
And always rely on the Jets.
I got carried away with the Jets as per usual for some reason. We all had the Bills to win the division. Obviously, they weren't that far off. To be fair to H, he had the top two in the wrong order and he had the bottom two in the wrong order. So, you could argue he got closer than the rest of us. But yeah, Bills.
Well, I actually got one right, so
yeah, so you're taking the win in the East. That's fine. I had the Dolphins to be terrible, which they were. I just didn't think the Jets would be worse than they are. So, and I think neither me or you had the Patriots finishing top two, let alone making the Super Bowl. So, so they proved us wrong a little bit. But I think a lot has been said. It'd be interesting to watch the Patriots next year because. They did have a pretty soft schedule, and that doesn't mean that they're not going to win. You can only beat what's put in front of you, but it feels a little bit like the Commanders last year, where they had a shot at that rookie Daniel's rookie season. They had a bit of a soft schedule. They came into it last year, and it all just fell apart. So, it'd be interesting to see the Patriots. Yeah. And
I think next year, if you ask me to predict this now for next season, I'm going to have to go Dolphins dead last, like you guys did. They are. Yeah. They are a mess at the minute.
Although the Jets were a little bit. It didn't go well, so let's bring the head coach back and do it again. So it's a bit Bengals, isn't it? It didn't work. We'll try again. Onto the South. Now, this is a mess. We've all gone for different things and all managed to not get anything right. Jags, Texans, Colts, Titans. So, if we'd have stopped the count after week 8, my Colts to win the division which let's face it, was a home. Was a heart pick overhead. Was looking
Yeah.
really good at that point.
It looked great. Was that around the time? Was that around the time you went all in on Sauce Gardner?
Yes, we went all in. We won one game in Germany, the Jonathan Taylor game against the Falcons, and then it went downhill from there quickly. But it's all to do with quarterback, and that is the biggest problem we've got this year. Is who are we gonna? Because Daniel Jones isn't going to be back anytime soon. So I mean, he might.
You don't think?
Finish the season? He might finish the season, but he's not going to start it. No. So I wouldn't have thought at this point. So it's like, how do we bridge that gap in the meantime?
Kyler Murray.
I love Kyler Murray at the Colts. It makes no sense whatsoever. But I reckon he could come in and do a job for 6 or 7 games. I'd love it. I've got a bit of a Kyler Murray rant.
Okay.
I don't know if we've got time for it. So let's get through this first, and then I could bring it up another time. It just makes
okay.
I don't know if it's a rant or it's just something that made me laugh. So yeah, we got nothing right in the South. Anybody who picked the Jags to win the division, congratulations. I thought the Jags were pretty good, and Trevor Lawrence did help you win a couple of titles, so I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
In the West, me and H had the Raiders in 4th, so it was Broncos, Chargers, Chiefs, Raiders. Where I am going to give us our flowers on this is that none of us picked the Chiefs. So if we just talk about the Chiefs not winning the division, we called that. So, that could be the headline that we called the demise of the Chiefs. And when you think about this division was won by the same team for 10 years, that was a pretty bold shout. Now the fact that we got the team wrong is not a great shout, and the Chargers had a good year. The Broncos defense was just a little bit too good for everybody. So the Chiefs were already having a bad season. Then obviously we've lost Mahomes, so be interesting to see if he makes week 1. But they're be interesting to see how everyone feels about the Chiefs going into next year. And this is the one division where we always look at the odds and everything a couple of months before, and we'll do the same exercise next year. I'm really, really excited to see who the bookies think is going to win that division. I'm assuming it'll still be the Chiefs by default because Vegas will go with the usual winners, but it's a wide open division. That
apart from the Raiders.
Well, you never know. Depends how good Mendoza is.
I had way more faith in Geno Smith and John C.
You did.
Than I should have done last year.
Geno Smith has had an odd career. I was going to say great, but I didn't mean it in that way. I meant in an interesting way. Obviously, he didn't start. Then he had a good couple of years at the Seahawks, and then the last 18 months or the last 12 months, he's left the Seahawks to go to the Raiders. And the Seahawks have gone on to win the Super Bowl, and the Raiders have gone on to have the number 1 pick. It's like he couldn't have got any worse, really, could it?
No.
So could have just stayed where he was.
He's done a great job of replacing himself.
Yeah. So I'm not adding up who's winning at this point, but we've got like the odd 1 or 2, right? So
I think we're all on 2 each.
Yeah.
Possibly. We've all got 2 each.
Moving on to the NFC North, another disaster.
Still all on 2 each.
Again, so Bears, Packers, Vikings, Lions. I didn't realize until I did this that the Lions finished bottom of the division. I thought I don't know who I thought finished bottom, but I assume the Vikings did. What I would say about this is that this is about one of about 4 divisions that I called the favourites not winning it and still picked the wrong team to win it. So, like the last one that we just went over, I knew the Lions wouldn't win it, but I went for the Packers, and you and H both went for the Lions, and we were all wrong. So the Bears win that. None of us had the Packers finishing second, and none of us had the Vikings finishing third, and we definitely didn't go for the Lions to be last. So
no, absolutely not. Me and H both got the league the completely wrong way around. If you read our predictions, bottom to top.
Maybe that's what you meant, mate. Maybe you're just reading your notes the wrong way around.
Every single one of them was wrong, just backwards.
The North's a great division at the moment, though. With the Bears becoming competitive makes that a division where you go, actually, any one of those. At this point, we're far too far off to be making predictions. But at this point, with the right off season, any one of those 4 teams could win that division, and that's how you want the NFL to be. So
yeah, but the Packers are going to struggle having a good off season because their cap's through the roof.
Yeah, that is
they're going to make some big moves.
That's not going to help. Yeah, teams they've just put the cap up by about 25 million, aren't they? Teams move things around. They'll make it happen. The NFC East. Check this out.
Oh, what?
Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, Giants. Just as I called it. Unbelievable.
Wow. Excellent work.
Which basically all comes down to the fact that I fancy the Cowboys. I had more faith in the Cowboys than either you or H do. Like his hatred for Dak will remain no matter what happens. And I just don't think you're ever gonna count the Cowboys to do anything good. I didn't believe in the Commanders. We all had the Giants to finish last. H had the Eagles to win it. You were very bold on the Commanders back in the summer and had them to win the division.
Yeah, I was all in on them. I was all in on Jaden Daniels, and I was all in on Dan Quinn. I had money on Dan Quinn being coach of the year as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, we're going to go through some of our like player rankings quickly as well if we've got time. But I think one of the things you notice is that we don't get many things wrong that aren't completely, or that you can't attribute to injury. So as soon as Jaden Daniels goes down, that's the Commanders. Any hopes that the Commanders had,
yeah, and
goes out the window.
Because then it's Krosky Merritt, isn't it? And
yeah, they've got a 7th round running back starting with. I mean, and Mario was not that bad. He's a decent backup, but it's just not the same, is it? You compete in the division with the Eagles and the Cowboys, and even the Giants were a little bit better this year, but in a sort of we're going to play better and still lose kind of way. The Giants. So right onto the South, 2 left.
Another
none of
shocker
us
for
had
me.
the Panthers, Bucks, Falcons, Saints. None of us had the Panthers to win it.
Oh wait, hang on. You've robbed me of one there.
I have, yes.
You've robbed me of a point, yeah.
My apologies.
I had the Saints.
My apologies. Once I got onto the 7th one of these, my eyes were starting to blur over a little bit. So I apologise. You should have the Saints there. We all had the Saints to finish bottom. Me and you went for the Bucks to win it. H went for the Falcons to win it. Who had a good finish to the season, but not good enough to nip the Panthers. And I think the Panthers won it. It was 8 and 9 that won it. They weren't. Was it 8 and 9? Sure, they won it.
It was. But it wasn't like the Falcons finished strong, but they're such a weird team last year, weren't they? Yeah, they go and beat the Eagles and then lose to the Browns or the Jets. And, they're so random. They're they properly play to the level of their opponents. If they're playing against a top tier team, they will show up and show out. If they are playing ranked last in the NFL, they will somehow play worse than that team.
Yeah. This is very similar to the North in some ways, in that you could see any one of those teams winning it next year. The difference being that they're all rubbish. That's why they're going to win it. So they're not going to be great. Whereas the NFC North looks like it'll have some quality in it. So that's the South. And then finally, the NFC West, which was a stronger division for you. Seahawks, Rams, 49ers, Cardinals. We all had the 49ers to be either win it. We said they'd win it. H said they'd finish second. I went far too excited about the Cardinals for once and thought they'd finish second. So I didn't even call
the
them.
Trey McBride and Kyler Murray effect.
Yes. Although H had the Seahawks to finish bottom of the division. So,
that's a bad shout.
Yes, that is. So that's our division roundup. Overall, not great.
Not great, but you actually got one of them bang on. I think I won it for you actually. I'd lost count or stopped counting.
I'll take it. I'll take that. That's the win that I can take this from out of this. But it's not a great. There's definitely something for us to work on moving forward.
Yeah,
improvements to be made. Should we go straight into our player rankings?
Yeah, do the positional ones.
These were a bit better. So I've done these slightly different. This is harder to follow. And if you're not following on YouTube, you're definitely not going to follow this. So, but we'll just what I thought we'd do with this is we're not going to go through the whole list, but what I thought we'd do is just pick out a few. So we predicted our top 10 quarterbacks in 2026. Out of the top 10, H called 4 of them. You called 5, Ian, and I called just the 3. Of the ones that we all kind of agreed on that didn't make it, Lamar, Burrow, and Daniels were, I think, consensus top 5 picks back in the summer. Obviously, injury meant that none of those 3 made it. All 3 of us were also pretty high on Baker. I snuck him into my top 10. You two both had him at 6. You two both had Purdy as well. Me and H had Mahomes. I obviously had Kyler in there, who didn't make it.
Yeah, just cause.
Yeah, just because. Out of all of the, I'm not just having, I think I had him at 7. So I think we just sneak him in.
Oh, wow.
Out of the 2, there was 2 that we all called, Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. Not really any prizes for selecting those 2. Me and you both thought Prescott would make it. Me and H both had Goff. But the big shout outs, H going for Bo Nix. He was the only one who picked Bo Nix to finish in the top 10, and he finished at 8. And you were the only one who had Justin Herbert to finish top 10, and he finished.
Yeah, which is surprising given how much H loves Justin Herbert. I thought.
Do you know what? There's
H
a bit.
It
is funny when we're in the zone of doing like one of these a week, and we're just getting on with it, and we obviously chat through it and talk about it. But then when you look back at it after sort of 6 months and a bit of a break after the season, it is surprising when you look at it and go, H loves Herbert. How has he not predicted him for the top 10? How has he put Goff and Nix and people above him? But the problem with H is he loves everybody, doesn't he? So
well, mainly the kids, but
yes. So running backs, and I know we were having this conversation the other day. Running backs for the second year on the trot, I feel like there was nowhere near as many running backs injuries as you would historically expect. And I mean, the top 5 running backs, we obviously picked our top 15 of the top 5 running backs that finished the year. All three of us predicted that they were going to be there. We also had Chase Brown, Derrick Henry, Kyron, Genty, and Barkley. So now out of the 15, all 3 of us picked 10 that were going to be in there. So running back seems, I mean, when you go on to wide receiver, it's obviously not been as easy to predict that. The ones we didn't pick, Travis Etienne, nobody saw that coming.
No.
And he's a free agent. He might end up back at Jacksonville. It'll be interesting to see where he ends up, but he still won't be in my top 15 pick for next year. So it's just one of those seasons, I think, for Etienne. Javonte Williams, bounce back season for the Cowboys, ends up finishing at RB12. None of us saw that come in. And again, going back to the Herbert thing, this is one I thought you didn't have Swift in your top 15, and you love Swift.
I definitely did.
Yeah, you didn't, mate.
I definitely did.
You didn't. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
I absolutely had DeAndre Swift in my top 15.
You can go back and check, but you didn't. So I've got the list. So out of the ones that we didn't, the ones that we all called.
I'm good.
You what, sorry? The ones that
go on.
Yeah, so the ones that didn't finish in the top 15 that we called, you and H had Breece Hall. I didn't have Breece Hall, so don't know what happened there. You and H also had Bucky Irving, and for some reason I didn't pick Bucky Irving. Got that one right. I actually had my top 11 were all in, and then I just went off on a tangent with Hampton, Henderson, Caleb Johnson, and Chuba Hubbard made up my top 15.
Mate.
So those were the 4 bold shouts that I went for at the end that I've just gone a little bit left field. And
Caleb Johnson.
Didn't get any of them right. What I would say, looking at the running backs, and it was a really big rookie draft for running backs last year, and running backs were supposed to be good. And obviously Genty was the top one of that. But I would have thought that a couple more would have made, or at least a second one would have finished in the top 15 at the end of it. But it's been very much the more established names at the top of the chart, which will be interesting to see if that's the same moving forward and which one of those rookies really push on. The ones to mention, Ian, you were the only one who went for Jacobs, so good shout there. And I was the only one that went for James Cook.
Yeah, it's mad that, especially with H, because H really does like James Cook, and I've never been a big fan, but he got paid last year, got paid a fortune as well, and then
but I think he was sitting out, wasn't he? He was sitting out waiting to get paid, which I think didn't help. Would have put H off a little bit, and there was a big thing last summer about how he scored something like 18 touchdowns the year before, and that just wasn't sustainable, and he wasn't.
We all said there's no way he's doing that again.
Yeah, but he found a way. He found a way to be the running back 6. So moving on to wide receivers, a lot harder to pick. Just on those running backs, me and you picked 11 of the 15. H picked 10 of the 15. Okay. When it comes to wide receivers, it's
a nightmare. This.
It was all over the place. So Puka, Amon-Ra, Chase, Nico Collins, all three of us had. And then it starts getting a little bit all over the place. For some reason, I didn't think Jackson Smith and Jigba was going to finish in the top 15, which now looks like a really stupid prediction. And I'll hold my hands up. Let's talk about the ones that none of us had first. George Pickens, didn't see that coming. I thought he'd have a good year. Didn't see him being top 15, and he ended up being top 5 in the end. So big year for Pickens. Be interested to see how his being franchise tagged works out and whether they can get a deal done. So I don't think he doesn't strike me as the sort of player who wants to play on the tag.
No, I can't imagine that going well.
No. Just behind him was Chris Olave. I think we all agree that Chris Olave's always had the talent, but I don't think anyone thought he'd have the quarterback play or be able to stay healthy. So big year from him. Zay Flowers at 7. I had Zay Flowers in a few fantasy teams, and I can tell you he did not feel like the wide receiver 7 for points last year. So I think
if you'd have told me that Zay Flowers was wide receiver 7, I'd be like, absolutely not. There's no chance.
No,
I wouldn't even. I'd still say it was 15 to 20.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's going to be putting him up as high as that this next year. Devontae Adams at 9. That feels about right, just because the amount of touchdowns he stole on the 1 yard line. Frank Williams. Michael Wilson made, after those mega weeks, made it all the way up to wide receiver 10. Jameson Williams was at 12, and Wan'Dale Robinson made it into the top 15 at 14, which is, I don't really know what to say about that. There's nothing you can say. I think he's a free agent, isn't he?
I'm not sure, actually.
I think Wan'Dale's
I'm not sure.
The only one that just one of us picked, so a big shout out to H for Cortland Sutton. He snuck into his top 15 and ended up finishing 13. It was I feel like it was a weird year for wide receivers, though, because when you look at this list, other than the top 5, I feel like most of them were frustrating to have in fantasy, even though they finished in the top 15 at the end of the year.
Yeah, I suppose Devontae Adams maybe not, because, one yard line is getting tossed to him. Zay Flowers, big time. Definitely a frustrating player to have. AJ Brown, massively frustrating. Michael Wilson isn't a frustrating player to have in your team, but you just can't play him when Marvin Harrison Jr. is on the field.
Yeah.
And I said this last year because I was making the case for Michael Wilson to just be the wide receiver one of the Cardinals. We don't need him.
Yeah.
We don't need Marvin. He's just there for PI. Stop throwing the ball in.
Do you think Michael Wilson's got legs moving forward? Do you think there's a future for him? Or are they just going to go back to throwing the ball to Marv?
Well, he's still young, Michael Wilson. I think Michael Wilson's only like 25. I think he's only 25, something like that. He's still young.
Yeah, but is he going to get the chance?
I don't know. I can't. Like the Cardinals release Kyler Murray. Is it going to be Brisket? Who knows?
be interesting to see what they do. Let's move on to wrap it up with tight ends. All over the place, the tight ends. Sorry, before we move on, H picks 7 of the top 15 wide receivers. Me and you both picked 6. When it comes to tight ends, only one person had Trey McBride to finish number 1 overall. So I'll just make that clear first off. Called it, said he'd be there. We all had him in the top 10, obviously, and we had Kelsey and Bowers. Brock Bowers snuck in at 10, which just shows you don't have to do a lot to be a top 10 tight end over the course of the season.
Absolutely.
So we talk top 10 tight ends, but actually, really, what matters is can you finish in the top few positions? And I think we'll go on to talk about a few in a minute. The ones we didn't have, Dallas Goedert, none of us saw that coming, and I'm neither here nor there about that. It doesn't excite me. I'm not sorry that I didn't pick Dallas Goedert. No. I think, and I won't be picking him moving forward. It's not going to change the way I feel. Harold Fannon's second highest finishing rookie, and one that nobody saw come in. I think he could have a big future moving forward, but it's the Browns and anything could happen. But Njoku's gone now, so that he is the tight end of choice there. But they don't know what they're doing at quarterback, and the team's a bit of a mess. So we shall see. And the other one, just ahead of Bowers, Dalton Schultz. Again, probably had 2 big weeks, and that was just enough to finish in there. The 2 that only one of us picked out, you were the only one who had Ferguson in your top 10, and he finished 7. So that was a good shout. Ferguson feels a bit like moving forward, if CeeDee Lamb or Pickens gets injured, he's going to have a good game. But if they're both there, there's just not enough to go around, I don't think.
No, probably not. No.
You saw that at times. And I was the only one who put Kyle Pitts in the top 10, and he finished at 2. So.
Unbelievable. Again, if you'd have told me Kyle Pitts was tight end 2, come off it.
He was nowhere near. He just had what you must remember the 1 week he had in week 16 where he scored the most points of tight ends ever scored.
Yeah, so absolutely mental game.
So, and that was enough to get him up to 2 and get him 15 million on the franchise tag from the Falcons. So you could. That's it.
That is so unnecessary.
1 game. That's all you need.
I don't understand the logic behind tagging Kyle Pitts. I just don't get that.
Well, I think they're looking at it and going,
unless it's tag and trade, then.
Well, I think they're looking at it and going, we've got Drake London and we haven't got anybody else. So.
But they don't use him. Like if he was a vital part of that offense, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fine. He's essentially a wide receiver too.
Maybe he will be moving forward. I mean, it's taken them 5 years, but maybe
to figure it
out. Maybe now they'll go. Actually, let's give him. He's also he's still about 19 years old. He seems to get younger every year. So
yeah. Do you think we should start throwing it to Kyle Pitts? Yeah, go on then. Yeah, why not? Yeah. You're paying him 15 million, so we got to chuck him something.
Just in week 16. Right, we've got 20 minutes left before this podcast becomes too long. First thing I'm going to do, for those of you who've missed any of this, there was 10 head coach changes in the NFL. So what we'll do, Ian, is I'll quickly run through. I'll tell you who they are. You tell me whether you're bothered or not, and then we'll move on.
Right, go on then.
Cardinals hired Mike LaFleur.
Not bothered.
The Falcons hired Kevin.
I can save you a lot of time here,
All right, let me change the rules on this. Do you think it's a good hire? Do you think it's a good hire, or are you just like, nah?
Yeah, I do think it's a good hire. I don't know how much input he's had in terms of the Kyler Murray decision, and I don't know whether it's something he's going to be happy about. Like, has he come in and gone instantly, get rid of him? I've got no plans for him, or was that already something that was in motion? So I don't know whether he's gone there. They got rid of his QB1, and now he's a bit disenfranchised with them. Yeah, I would like to think that they gave him the option. Like, do you want Kyler Murray or not?
You would think so.
Yeah, but when he took that job, I'm sure he was thinking, "I'll take that job, and Kyler Murray's my QB1." I don't think he took the job and thought, "I'm going to get in there and I'm going to ship him off immediately."
And even though we're still paying him 30 odd million, so he's
Yeah,
going to sign
34 million, is it? You said?
Yeah. So this is we have got time. This is my like Kyler. It's not a Kyler Murray rant as much as a fantasy football rant. In that anybody who listens to this podcast, anyone who knows me knows that I have an unhealthy obsession with Kyler Murray. Big fan of him. And every single person takes the mickey out of me for it. Everyone tells me he's crap on a regular basis, right? Then he gets released by a team, so he now has no team. So now I'm obsessed by a quarterback that has no team, right? So I send out a couple of trade offers in Dynasty, and they instantly get rejected. I'm like, so I'm sending picks for a player that has no team that you've told me is crap for years, and then like. And I even got one message back from someone who will remain nameless, but he's definitely listening. So it was like, why would I do that? Why would I give you this? And I was like, I don't understand it. Everyone's telling me he's crap. And I'm like, well, I'll give you this pick for him if you want. No, not doing that. I'm like, brilliant. Fantasy football's absolutely great for that. Love it.
It's all about like where might you land?
Yeah.
Everyone's playing the long game. Like, ooh, where could he go that makes him relevant?
But this is the problem. It's like, if you think he's crap, it doesn't matter where he goes, does it? So, like, to be fair, I was only throwing like 4th round picks out, but they're 4th round picks in 8-team leagues. So you're still talking somewhere between pick 24 and 30.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, and yeah, one came back to me and went, "That's a worthless pick." I was like, "Well, it's not a worthless pick. It's a chance at something. If you don't think he's anything, like keep telling me, then you know."
I counter that and say, right, well, chuck me your 4th and 5th round picks then. If you think they're worthless, I'll take them off you.
Yeah, won't do that, will they? No, everything's more valuable when you've got it, which is my summary of fantasy football. It's like he's crap until he's on my fantasy team, and then he's a lot more valuable than I thought he was before. Right, quickly. Falcons hired Kevin Stefanski. I think that's a good hire. I like it.
I do think that's a good hire. I think the Browns were premature in getting rid of Stefanski.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that might have been a better move for Stefanski than the Browns. So
he'll be buzzing. He'd be buzzing.
He's definitely landed on his feet. The Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, I was surprised they let John Harbaugh go, but here we are. We've already talked about that. Hired Jesse Minter.
No comment.
Yeah. The Buffalo
Bills. I do like it, really. I do like Jesse Minter at the Ravens. Just don't want to comment.
Buffalo Bills, despite winning a playoff game, fired Sean McDermott and then looked around and then promoted Joe Brady from within, which I think is the most bizarre move of the summer, of the offseason.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Right. And I really wanted the Bengals to go for Sean McDermott.
Yeah.
I like him. I mean, even just as OC, offer him an offensive coordinator job if you don't want to get rid of Zach Taylor.
He will land somewhere as a head coach next year, I think. Maybe the Bengals next year.
Yeah, maybe after we've won it all.
Yeah, Cleveland Browns hired Todd Monken.
No, it's the Browns. It doesn't matter.
The Las Vegas Raiders hired Clint Kubiak from the Seahawks.
I do like that. I do like that.
I feel like we did this last year with the Raiders, but we're going to do it again. In that you kind of go, good coach, and they've got some pieces there. You know, if they've got the number 1 pick, they're going to fill a quarterback. They've got the running back. They've got a tight end. You just kind of like start piecing these bits together and go, yeah, there's pieces there that you can work with.
Yeah, and I don't think the coaching situation at the Raiders last year helped because it clearly wasn't a long-term plan.
No.
For the Raiders, so I wasn't impressed last year with that. It was Pete Carroll, wasn't it? Yeah. I wasn't happy with that at all because it's like you're trying to do a rebuild with a 90-year-old head coach. It's just it doesn't work. And he was never there for the long haul, so he wasn't really invested in the development and the building of the squad for future seasons. Whereas, Kubat's got a bit more about him. He's obviously intending to be there for a while, and your long haul coach who is actually going to put more time and effort into building and developing a team.
Yeah, they need somebody. I'm not sure that we should be ageist at our age. I think we've reached a point where we should start celebrating people in the 70s as opposed to going, actually, it's just like a 90-year-old bloke, isn't he? So, just a really old guy. Last three, Dolphins hired Jeff Hafley.
Yeah, I think at this point it doesn't really matter who the head coach for the Dolphins is. They are in such a mess this offseason, and I just don't see a way of them fixing it before the beginning of the season. Regardless of how well they draft, they've still got the Tua contract hanging over them. They're trying to get rid of him. They're going to eat a load of dead cap space. They've got an aging squad. They've not really got many tradable pieces. They are in a bad way, and I think that is maybe one of the toughest coaching jobs in the NFL right now.
Yeah. They do have Jalen Waddle, though.
They do have Jalen Waddle, yeah. Have you sent any trade offers out for him yet?
One of the best receivers in the league. So, no, because I'll send trade offers out for him and they'll get rejected because Jalen Waddle's better when you've got him on your team. The Giants hired John Harbaugh, previously mentioned, left the Ravens.
Yeah, that's a steal.
Yeah. I like the Giants.
I do like that.
They've got something building there.
They've got some pieces. Scarborough and Jackson Dart. I do like that.
Get Neighbours back. They could be better, which wouldn't be hard. And finally, the Pittsburgh Steelers hired Mike McCarthy, which we've already touched on a little bit.
Yeah,
seems like a sideways move for me.
Yeah, it is absolutely.
Right, trade news. So there was a bit of the Rams have traded their first round pick and other things to the Chiefs for McDuffie, was it?
Trent McDuffie, yeah.
Yeah. Which has no relevance fantasy football wise, but if you've got a thought on it outside of fantasy football, I'm happy to hear it.
So yeah, there's a whole Bengals slant to this.
All right.
For the draft, because the Chiefs are drafting one place higher than us. They're at 9, we're at 10. And with them getting rid of McDuffie, the theory now is that they're going to use that pick on a linebacker, which should leave us free to take the safety that we want. Because there was the concern that they were going to take Caleb Downs, who is the safety that we really want, that everyone really wants, if we're honest. But now they've got rid of McDuffie. That does open the door for us to actually get who we want at 10 and not have the Chiefs stealing from us.
I mean, obviously, H is the rookie college king of this podcast. And so I don't know, other than Mendoza and Love, I don't know much about this rookie class yet. I haven't had a chance to look into it. But I did notice that I think it was Daniel Jeremiah's first round mock draft, he had only 7 players drafted that would have been relevant for fantasy football, so 7 offensive players. And I was like, well, that's not a great sign, I'm going to be honest. That's a long way away from the 6 quarterbacks being drafted in the first 10 to 12 spots like it was a couple of years ago. So, I mean, I'm excited about the draft, excited about getting into it, but it does look like it's going to be a defensive-heavy draft.
Yeah, it will, yeah.
By all accounts, there's just one quarterback and that's it. So, but then nobody gave Tyler Shook a chance this year, and he played pretty well in the end. The big trade that's gone through from a fantasy football point of view, the Buffalo Bills have traded for DJ Moore, and I don't know if you've seen the compensation, but they are getting DJ Moore and their Bears' 5th round pick, and they are sending their 2nd round pick to the Bears.
They are, which is quite a high pick, I thought. But what is also interesting is that they are also taking on $40 million of guaranteed money from the Bears as well.
Yeah.
which I think is a massive overpay for DJ Moore now.
It feels a little bit like that, but it's hard to tell with the Bills because in recent memory they've got the Diggs trade. Wasn't that long ago?
They could have got him for free today.
Yeah, but that's I don't think they want this
No.
this Stephon Diggs anymore.
No.
But they've got the Diggs trade that worked really well for them, and then I know it's not the same thing, but if you go back a couple of years, you've got the Amari Cooper trade that didn't work out at all.
Didn't work.
So yeah, so I mean, you've got examples of the Bills doing this and it going one of two ways. I think it's a good move for Chicago. I don't mind it for Buffalo. I think it feels like a little bit of an overpay. I'm not really sure how much value I'd put on a 5th round pick, and therefore effectively you're just paying a second or a really, really late second for DJ Moore, which feels like it feels expensive, and I get that. But at the same time, we're talking about a team that drafted a wide. If they need a wide receiver and it's not a great wide receiver draft, and they drafted a wide receiver a couple of years ago and Keon Coleman a lot higher than the back end of the 2nd round, and it hasn't worked out. I mean, unless they're gonna take one in the 1st round, I don't know what what this at least frees them up to use their 1st round pick on something else.
Yeah, I suppose it does. I would have liked to have seen them have a conversation with you guys about Alec Pierce. If I'm honest,
He's a free agent.
He is a free agent. Tyreek Hill is still out
I hope
there.
he comes back though. To be fair.
Yeah, maybe. Tyreek Hill's still out there.
Yeah.
I mean,
You see,
do you want the drama? I mean, has he still got it? You could have got Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs in the same team for next to nothing.
do you know? According to this is a tweet I saw from Warren Sharp earlier. I mean, the most number one on this list should not be hard for you to work out. The most expensive wide receiver rooms in 2026. I don't know if you've seen this list. So
No.
This is based on cap hit as opposed to how much they're actually getting paid. Do you want to have a guess at who number one is? Pretty obvious.
It's going to be us, right?
Yeah, it is you.
Yeah.
$63.5 million. Do you want to guess who's second at $59.4 million now? And the now was the big clue.
No, go on. What?
It's the Buffalo Bills.
You are joking.
The Buffalo Bills are putting more cap, are putting the second most cap towards wide receivers in 2026. And it feels
for DJ Moore, Khalil Shakir, and Keon Coleman.
Yes.
That is outrageous.
Yes. I was like, that's
No
a lot
way.
of money. $60 million. It feels like a lot of money. And I know DJ Moore's going to be DJ Moore's about half of that, I think. I think he's about 28. So I was like, where's the rest of this going? Must be going on Khalil Shakir.
Shakir, Jesus.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that DJ Moore trade, the Bears have got a load of draft picks again this year.
Yeah.
They could have a really strong draft, and they could be set up for years to come if they draft well this year.
Going back to fantasy football, obviously we're in dynasty season, so I'm asking you more from a dynasty point of view, which probably sways the answer a little bit. With that trade in mind, would you rather have DJ Moore or Luther Burden that opens up an opportunity for him in Chicago?
I don't know, it's tough because you're looking at wide receiver 1 versus wide receiver 2. One's older, one's in his 2nd year. Luther Burden could be a good player. He's still going to get past Roma Dunes. I think I'd rather take DJ Moore.
Interesting. Didn't think you'd go that way.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have the wide receiver 1 in a Bills offense that are clearly identified that they are struggling getting the ball to a receiver, which means that DJ Moore's getting spammed this year.
Yeah, I think the targets are going to be there for DJ Moore. Be interesting to see where he falls in terms of redraft. So I've got him in a dynasty, and I just stuck him on the trade block straight away just to see if there's any interest. So
Stand by, mate.
No,
I'm on my
I know
way.
you're in that league. You're not in that league, but I was like, I don't think there's enough activity around NFL fantasy football at this particular game. We're obviously looking at it, but I don't think there's enough activity on leagues for me to get the offer I'm going to want at this point. So I might have to do it again in a couple of months when everybody sort of wakes up and realizes. One of the things I love about social media is I screenshotted the tweet from Adam Schefter with the details of the deal on it because I thought I've seen that. We'll talk about that later. The top two replies, I won't go into the details of who they were, but the top two replies both have a little blue tick next to their name. The first one says "Great deal for the Bears," and the second one says "The Bears just got completely fleeced." So it's like, so it's like, so everybody has their opinion at this point, and you know somebody will be right at the end of it.
Yeah, well, the blue tick means nothing because you can pay for the blue tick, can't you? It means absolutely nothing.
And they are both clearly people who paid for it. The only other thing from me to bring people up to speed, you mentioned Kyler Murray's been cut. In the last few days, several people have been cut. Kyler Murray is amongst them. Wide receiver Stephon Diggs, you mentioned. Darnell Mooney now has gone. Jonnu Smith, I didn't realize had been cut from the Steelers, apparently. He's gone. Probably going back to college to play for Arthur Smith. If he can find a way to do that. Giants linebacker Bobby Okereke. Hate saying that.
Okay.
Vikings, yeah, that's better. Vikings DT Jonathan Allen, Commanders cornerback Marshawn Lattimore, Chargers tight end Will Disley amongst the people who are getting cut at the moment. This brings us nicely up to the hour, or approaching the hour. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention the Breece Hall being placed on the tag that isn't a tag.
No, I think they changed it, didn't they? Did they change what they were going to do and franchise tag him?
How have they?
I think. Go on, you talk about it while I Google it. I'm pretty sure it's
where they have the right to
the transition
to match whatever he gets offered from anywhere else. And there was the picture that went around social media of an image of the room he was in when he received the call to let him know he's been tagged.
That wasn't real. I know you want it to be real.
I did enjoy it, and there's just holes everywhere in the walls. But he will not be happy with that.
Yes, he got franchise tagged in the end. I think I read the story was they were worried about Denver. Denver had shown an interest in him, and they were worried about them overpaying for him. So they just went ahead and
that's the whole point of the that is the whole point of the transition tag.
Yeah, so they didn't want to do that.
We're going to transition tag, but we're going to change it if someone actually shows an interest.
Yeah, which is effectively what happened.
Because they wanted to completely lowball him with an offer.
So I've just found this. There were 4 players who were tagged: Breece Hall, Daniel Jones.
Yeah, you happy with that?
I think it was the right call. I don't know what else. I mean, I think you probably could have transitioned him because who else is going to get it off of Daniel Jones, who's got a ruptured Achilles, a contract, who's only ever coming back to us. But at the same time, I kind of like, I don't mind it. I'm assuming they will try and get a deal done with him closer to the season when they sort of see him potentially back on the field, or at least in the fitness room. And then the big 2 are George Pickens and Kyle Pitts that we've already talked about. So Falcons didn't waste any time with Kyle Pitts doing that a month ago.
No, and we're not mentioning Kirk Cousins being cut.
No, I think he's going back to the Vikings.
Yeah, I would like that. I would like to see Kirk Cousins back in Minnesota. Just for a year. Just give JJ McCarthy another year on the sidelines.
If they still believe in JJ McCarthy, which I mean they've got to a certain extent, I think Kirk Cousins is the perfect one to bring back and go, actually, you're going to come in for a year. JJ's going to sit for another year, and then if Cousins gets injured, because Cousins showed he still had it at the end of last year, they probably shouldn't let him go in the first place. So I think that's what will happen. That's my prediction.
I would enjoy that.
While we're doing predictions, where's your mean, I don't know why we're doing predictions because we started this episode with a summary of how bad we are at it. But if we keep doing stuff, eventually you get one right. Where's your landing spot for Kenneth Walker? Where do you think he'll
go? Maybe Denver if they were looking at overpaying massively for Breece Hall.
Yeah, that's a good show. I'm going Washington. That's my command. I think the Commanders will go because they don't have anybody. So I think he will be. I'm just bringing up. I mean, we can wrap up at this point. But I'm just bringing.
I would also like to see him at the Saints.
Yeah, do you know what?
Kamara's finished.
The Saints Kamara's been finished for 3 years, but he's still massively under contract for a lot of money. It's the Saints are one of those I was looking at and thinking about, and then I was reading that Kamara's still under contract, and I was like, and he might. It wasn't one of those that they could cut. They might need to restructure him to get his cap hit down. So I was like,
but this is what the Saints do. Anytime someone needs paying, they just kick it down the road. Like they'll do some weird contract stuff and kick the money down.
Eventually, they're going to have to eat.
It bites them in the ass eventually, don't it?
They're going to have to eat that Kamara deal eventually, aren't they?
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm just looking down ESPN's top 100 free agents. Alec Pierce is at 4. I think where he finishes up will be interesting. I really hope we find a way to bring him back because he showed something last year.
Yeah. Is Trey Hendrickson at 1 by any chance?
He is, yes.
Yeah, outrageous.
Yeah, from it's very well, it's not very fantasy football relevant anyway. The only ones, the Alec Pierce is 4. This is ESPN's list. The only other fantasy relevant, you have to go down to 12 to get to Mike Evans. Surely you end up back at the Bucks.
Yeah, he's got to stay on it. Yeah, after that nonsense about who was it that said he should chase a ring because he's been nowhere near it.
Oh, he was on them. He was on the herd. I don't. Did we share that on our WhatsApp? Because I was going to send it to you because I was like, I know we talk some crap, but at least I'm aware that Mike Evans has won a ring. So
yeah, he needs to leave. He needs to leave because he's been nowhere near it. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's got no one near it. Nowhere near it. You can't recover from that. Your career's over at that point.
It should be like if you get something that wrong, you should never be invited. It's just done. Just done.
Yeah, it's wild. Right, I think we'll wrap it up there, mate. It was good to see you. It was good to chat.
Yes, good to be back.
I hope everyone enjoyed listening. We will be back. Free agency is next week or the week after?
Starts on Monday. It's this Monday, isn't it?
Right, so we will probably be back the week after. We'll do a summary of free agency, and then we'll try and get H back from Bermuda or wherever he's gone on this 3-month holiday to get away from us. We'll try and drag him back in time for the rookie previews because we'll need to do that. I would really like. I know we've just done a sort of review of last year. I would really like to go back through the top 10 picks of the rookie drafts last year to see how we would do it differently this year because I do think things change so quickly, and I think there's a discussion there to be had. But we'll see if we can fit that in around everything else. So. Yeah, we'll be back in a couple of weeks to talk free agency. And in the meantime, follow us on socials as always and look out for posts and stuff we'll be doing around drafts and other competitions we're launching.